Good morning, folks. This is end of the line here with the Hungarian War Wagons. So we're going to finish these up, and then the army will be complete. All right. So we glued these things down. But we still have, we filled in the space here with this, with more of this spackle here. So we're gonna need to paint that a little bit, and then we can do the grassing and tufting and so forth. So let's get our brushes, which of course we put away. Let's see, I don't need a very big one for this. This should do just fine. All right, let's grab the old chocolate brown. I think I need a paint palette for this. Where is, this is what happens when you pick up your work area when you're done. You can't find everything. All right, get a little brown here. Not using a wet palette for this. This is kind of unnecessary. And we need some fan movement. I probably could have gotten away with not putting this material in this spot and just put grass there. But I didn't really want to cut corners on that. There we go. Speed that's at. Change a little bit. There we go. All right. one thing I'm actually going to do is there is a tiny little bit. We can put this away. Need to wait for this part to dry a tiny bit. There is a tiny little bit of the base of these figures still showing. So we're going to paint it up like it's wood. I don't know if anybody will notice, but I noticed. That's good enough for me. We're going to need to get the smallest of brushes here. I'd like to use one that I've already started using. This should be fine. And we are going to grab the wood palette for this. Okay. And if I remember correctly, oh, that wood's not going to be alive anymore. I believe the wood I used was Monster Brown. Monster. I don't usually write down the colors that I use on something. It's pretty easy to figure out. Only with the basing. I've got a little card floating around here somewhere that uses that I wrote down the colors that I use for the basing of my figures. You know, on the stands. I don't need to for this one because I've done this one so many times, but my desert one I've only done a couple times. And the one I like to call my modern Africa basing. I've only done those a couple times, so I got to remember. I don't want to forget exactly what color I'm going to use for those. So. Now, there is a little bit of epoxy showing underneath the feet. I'm going to run some dull coat lacquer in there to see if I can at least dull that a little bit. There's just no way to avoid that. There's going to be some of that, but it's not that noticeable. Or I should say it doesn't bother me that much. It looks better than having these guys on a base. Okay. Just a little bit of that. That's it. I'm not worried about sealing that. It's in a place where you can't really get to. It's not going to get any wear and tear on it. All right, let's, the other color, where is it? The mid-range one, and then the Iraqi sand. So the mid-range one is here. And good old Iraqi sand is here. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is we're not going to do what I've been doing because I seem to create a minor issue. And that is to just Jeez. To put live paint on here. Anytime I do that, I end up scooting something over it and taking it with me. It doesn't create a huge problem, but it slows the process down. You know, I figure I'd take long enough doing this thing anyways. So let's put some of this color here. And we're just going to dry brush these little spots. And starting next weekend, actually starting Sunday, well, except I'm not going to be online tomorrow. I'm going out of town. So you guys will have to do something productive with your lives tomorrow instead of watching me. But starting next weekend, we get daylight savings time comes in. You know, that silly thing we do here in the U.S. Just to change the time, just because. But I will be, I believe if I did the math right, I'll be online an hour earlier than I am now. I think I did that right. So we'll see. But that's next weekend because it comes into effect at 2 o'clock in the morning this Sunday, but I'm not going to be online Sunday. So I'm not going to be online Sunday morning. Let's put it that way. So do that one that color. So the next thing after this we're going to do is do the Iraqi sand, and then we're going to put the grass and the tufts. And then this whole army will be complete. Because I decided to not do the nights that aren't deep in it. Otherwise, I'd still have those to do. We're going to move on to something else. So I got some driving to do today, and I'll get a chance to take a look at, think about what I'm going to do next. Although I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to do next. So I got a whole weekend to try to talk myself out of it and talk myself into something else. Okay. And let's get Iraqi sand out. Let's flip these two. Good morning, Mark Chen. How are you? Time for a whiskey breakfast. Didn't bother rinsing out the paintbrush. It's really not necessary for this. It's going to blend all this together. Like I said, I probably wouldn't even have to do this. I could probably just have put grass in those areas, but I wanted to have some 3D aspect of it. I didn't want to be kind of a barren place. I wanted these rocks and stuff to come up to right up to where the wheels were. And it doesn't really it doesn't take any time. So, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. This booger fell out. Huh. Oh, I guess he didn't stick very well. Wow, even with epoxy, got little pieces on his feet. Okay, well, we'll have to glue him down too. Oh well. Yeah, this was kind of a multi-step pain in the ass thing to do, these War Wagons, so didn't leave me a big love for doing more of them. Not necessarily, you know what? It was only the gluing the guys inside the war wagon. That was it. Painting it was fun. I like painting anything that looks like it's made of wood that isn't gun carriages, anything like that. But it was difficult to fit these guys in there. But I wanted to put four. I guess I could have put less, but all right. We'll glue him in last. Let's put it that way. Put him off to the side. Damn mercenaries. Can't find good help around here. All right. Let's grab tufts. We got some leftover tufts, don't we? From a previous project where we cut them up and put them out here and never didn't use them all. So we'll use them first. Oh, there's none of the other kind. All right, we'll get some of them too. I like having a variety. Let's see here. Of course, it's the one I didn't find. It's dark down here. All right. 1, 2. Let's grab 3 of these. We should have plenty to work with now. All right. Good morning. I will be painting as well today. One of my bedrooms. Oh no. Well, hopefully you don't have to paint the roof, the ceiling. Oh, I detest painting a ceiling. Or maybe you have smooth walls. The worst thing about painting is, it's fun, except you miss spots and have to go over. So, oh well. It's either that or you can pay somebody too much money to do it for you. So that's why we do our own painting, right? Ceiling first. Oh my God, I hate painting a ceiling. It makes such a mess. I don't care how careful you are. And as you can imagine, I don't like making a mess when I'm painting well, I'm used to not making a mess all the time. So I don't like painting with a roller. You get those little sprinkles. You know the you know what I'm talking about. I can't speak. I need more I need to have a drink. Caffeine. That's my real addiction. You guys watch my games. I have my flask of whiskey, but I could deal without alcohol. But caffeine, oh no, nothing would happen. Nothing would happen. All right, and we've got this, and it's funny because the day I have a drink is the day is the. Let's start over. The day that I have a drink is on the day and the activity that I need the least. I need it at work. I don't need it when I'm doing my social activity. You too, James. Good luck. All right. Let's all right. Let's get a brush we don't love. I'm ready for all these brushes to die and I have to buy new ones. But I don't really want to be wasteful either. Right, let's not get distracted. Tufts go last. All right, grass. Let's see. Let's put some here. Yeah, if I build a new army next, I got to think long and hard about what I'm going to do because it's a commitment for, well, let's see, how long, when did I start this army? It's every bit of a 6 month commitment. So, and I don't want to start something and then not finish it. That's un, unsatisfying. That's unsatisfying. Okay. And we're not going to do both. We'll do this one. And all right, we're going to need tweezers. Maybe. Maybe. We're going to need a little box. Let's see. Okay. A little box that we put these guys into so that we can catch all the extras. Hey, I'm not trying to be cheap. It's just dumb to be wasteful. You know, you're going to be buying stuff anyways. You know? Right. It's dumb to be wasteful. It is. When I did my refurbishment of my French ordnance, I had a bunch of blades that were based three to a stand, and the reason I based them three to a stand is in 2.2 they could dismount in the middle of the game. So I wanted blades that matched the riders, and since there's only three riders in the knight on the nightstand, I wanted three blades. And when I redid them for 3.0, they no longer dismounted on the fly. They have to be dismounted or at the beginning of the game or not at all. And because of that, I no longer wanted them three on a stand. So I ended up rebasing them. And I use epoxy to glue all my things down. But let's put it here, and we'll put it in the box. But I was able to salvage the stands and reuse the same stands. That wasn't actually that big of a pain in the butt. That sounded like that would have been a bigger pain, but no. It was actually a bigger pain gluing these little guys inside here. It's all right. Shit happens, you know? It's not that big of a deal. It's a lot less trouble than I got to deal with on a daily basis at my job, so. I'm used to problem solving there too, so. But no painting tomorrow. Going out of town for some sandy beach sun worshiping. Well needed. That's the plan anyways. Put a little bit of grass there in front of the step. Not a whole lot. Well, I don't know how long this thing's been sitting here. But say these guys had to go to the bathroom a lot, they just end up wearing the grass out in front of it. Hold it till you get out of the wagon. All right. All right, this remote control needs to move. Remote control for the fan. All right. My other addiction, moving air. Gotta have a fan. Gotta have a fan and gotta be at a temperature. I gotta work on my hobby in temperature that's pleasant. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't be able to. My paint room would not be able to be Mitch's shed that we play in. That'd be a no-go. I wouldn't paint because I'm afraid that from now on until probably October, any videos that we're going to shoot out there are probably going to have the damn AC running in the background, which is a couple of window units, and they barely make it palatable to be in there. Unfortunately, we do not have central air in there. Okay. Let's show you what we got. I can't even see it. I don't have my glasses on. I think this is in front of the camera. Put one on one. There we go. You want to avoid doing this with a shirt that has a lot of synthetic properties because it just attracts all these little pieces of the flock like crazy. You can never get it out. Found that out. Okay. Now, what do we got left? We got to glue this. We're gonna need more of this stuff right here. Come on. We're on until 6:40 today. Well, you know, the usual. 6:40, go wake up the daughter. You know, give her 15 minutes to get up, and then we're off. Okay. Please, Tufts all got stuck together. That's no big deal. I'll get recycled. All right, I'm looking for these. Okay. We're going to put one of these right here. Why? I feel like it. That's where it grew. So hopefully they make a decision next week whether or not the Storacon is going to go forward. Because I think the following week is the week to turn in your games or whatever. I'm not going to be doing any planning until they can tell me whether or not it's going to happen. I'm not putting all together that whole schedule and everything just to have the carpet taken out from under me again. That shit gets old. I'm fine if they don't have it. We don't have to go. Okay, so one of those is there. Let's put this one, this bushy one on this one on the front. Okay, let's put that there. Don't need to shop for anything. The only thing would be to like pick up more tufts or something like that. See if there's any new ones like these in particular. This is a new brand I've never seen before, which is called Gamer's Grass. It comes from Portugal, and it had it at Historicon there, and I picked it up for some more color varieties, but I'd never heard of it before. You know, stuff like that. But there's nothing I need. I don't need any more miniatures. Biggest appeal is just to hang out with folks. So if they put conditions on you attending that you can't hang out with people, then why even bother going? So, hey, but that's me. So, let's put this one there. It's a it's a 14 and a half hour drive one way for us, so it needs to be what I would like to call a win. That's a lot of effort and treasure to, go through a lot of inconvenience. Okay. I think we're good with that. We're gonna put some smaller ones like these on there, but let's switch back to this one. And I heard somebody say that one time, referring to the cost of something as treasure. And I thought, oh, that's a pretty good way to describe it. Like we spend all day plundering things. Let's clear off a little spot. Get a little bit better purchase on here. I'm not sure the bottoms of these are kind of sticky, but yeah, I can't imagine somebody just sticking them on and calling it a day. Okay. Good morning, Dirk. Let's put it on one of these here. Or good evening, in your case. I don't think they do daylight savings time or in the rest of the world. Or if they do, it's not in most of the west of the world, I'm pretty sure. So I'll be coming to you an hour earlier starting next week. I wish you'd just pick one of the two times and leave it alone. I really don't care which one. I actually prefer the summertime, the one we're going to turn into. Because then if you've got to do any yard work or anything when you come home from work, it's a possibility. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen. But honestly, I wish they would just pick one and leave it alone. But okay, that's good. Now let's take some of this stuff here. We'll have some of it right next to the step. So you need a little bit more. This is a cheap freaking hobby. I'm telling you, if you've got self-control and you don't buy everything under the sun at once, And look how long I've been working on these damn War Wagons. You know, how many hours of work have I created for myself for the cost of this thing? You know, it's really inexpensive compared to, well, think of some other hobbies and how expensive they are. Now, people that say Gaslands. Gaslands is a perfect example. Gasland is super cheap, super super cheap. Now, if you buy $20 worth of of vehicles every weekend, yeah, well, it adds up. I'm gonna get a big one of these. I'm gonna get a big one of that style. This is the this is the one I started with, Swamp Tuft from Army Painter. Okay, move this back aside. You guys will make the cut next time. So, can we put this big old burly one there? I think so. Okay, let's do that. You do hear, in fact, I think we're going back to winter time in 2 weeks. Okay. So, if I was unfathomably rich, it would be great to be here in the winter and then travel to New Zealand or Australia and then be in their winter so I could have winter all year round. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to be in, a foot of snow or anything, but I'm just saying I like cooler weather, you know. Oh, that looks nice. Okay. Well, this one could use another one over here by the tire or somewhere like that. Tire, wheel. Sorry. Unfathomably rich. Yeah. Let's see. I'd just, I'd buy an island, design its flag, and then leave everybody alone. I wouldn't be getting in people's business. Let's put it that way. What is- Or as I like to say, those people that have that kind of money, they've got problems that you and I haven't even thought about having. We're good here. Where's my X-Acto knife? Oh, that's what happens when you put it somewhere you're not supposed to. Here. Let me cut this thing down to size. Okay. Wow, this is a long one. Kind of a dark one. Wouldn't that be funny if they did an exposure and they found out that one of the materials in doing these tufts is pubic hairs from some animal? Why'd you guys use those? Well, we got them really cheap. Well, no shit. Oh, yeah. And we're going to put one over here on the side to make sure the side doesn't get left off. Um, okay. I think that's all easy. think that's all we're gonna do. Yeah, if there's an item you don't want to throw on the floor, it's this. This thing is so heavy, it would just destroy itself. Okay, I think that one's done. Yeah, crappy lighting. Well, the lighting's not good. It just doesn't come on up on camera. So if you look at the top, there's a bunch of little wet spots at their feet. I don't know if you can make one of them out. We're gonna run some. We're gonna run some of that lacquer on top of it and see if we can de-shine that. Maybe I won't do that in case they pop off again. I'm not sure. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. This one. Do we need anything else on it? Or are we good? What's the front of this one look like? Okay. I don't want them to look the same. I'm gonna leave it alone. Well, we're gonna glue that one guy in there. Now, if you watch my earlier video, when they sit side by side, this one has to be on the right-hand side because of how they fit. If I had to do it again, I'd take these little pieces that protrude out up here, right here, and just cut them off. And then we don't have them sitting side by side issue. But I'm not gonna do that. You know. So if they're together, just gotta make sure that the one with the shield is on the right hand side. Because there was no way to, they bump into each other. Fits fine with other troops, but just War Wagon on War Wagon, And we made sure that when somebody gets pissed off at these guys and they come and charge them and they want to fight them, that their swords or whatever, they're far back enough from the front that they fit, that they mesh, as I like to say. All right, let's mix up some epoxy and glue that last guy in. That's a whole lot of mixing for a tiny little guy. So, the other Marcin, how are you? Excellent. Poland represent. Man, this stuff is stinky. I say that every time I open it up. You get used to your hobby not smelling. And then when it does, it really stands out. Where is my latest mixer? I may just use this as the mixer from now on. Just a needle that's been blunted. Because it's easy to clean off. It's a major overkill. Now, I think this guy is going to stay on there pretty well. The guy that broke off is not one of the more difficult, incorrigible types. Yeah, he's just over here by himself. I don't know why he decided he needed a break. These two figures are in the middle are the ones that are the major pain. All right, let's see if we can get away with doing this. No fumbles. We'll leave that there so he stays glued in place. All right, let's set this off to the side. Okay, these guys will be going on eBay for 99 cents. No, I'm not that excited to play them, believe it or not. I know that sounds weird, but the other thing is I've played almost 2,000 games of DBA, so it's we'll do a group shot of those guys when that dries. All right, so what do we do now for the next 45 minutes or so? We're gonna have to take a little break for the in there, but 45 minutes. Probably shouldn't probably shouldn't do that. All right, so let's pull out the old JS2 out, and where we left off for that, because we're certainly not gonna start on a new army. Oh, I'm assuming it's an army I'm gonna paint next. I know you guys are dying to find out what it is. It's likely I'm gonna go ahead and spill the beans. It's likely I'm gonna go finish my Russians. I've got 5 stanza nights to do, and then the Russians are done. That's likely what I'm going to do next. That's what I should do. So, if I'm a good boy, that's what I should do. All right. All right, so here's where we left off this shiny beast. And we hand painted these numbers. And if it looks like the barrel is pointing down, it is kind of a little bit. This barrel was a massive pain in the ass to try to get it glued there. But that's fine. This is a very short range game. So honestly, the barrel probably would be pointed down at a little bit of an angle to be able to fire on the board. So, all right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take more of this mastic here that we took it off for. And we're going to put this back on the turret, okay? Now, I've got a clear coat on top of the decals. We clear glossed the turret, and we applied the decals, and we did the micro set and the micro sol, and then after that dried, we clear coated afterwards. So the decals should be in between that. Now the numbers, I think I did the same thing, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not happy with the numbers. They need to be a little thicker. Not that they couldn't look like that. I would like them a little thicker, because we're going to give everything a wash of brown over it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it alone for the time being, and we're going to go ahead and give it that brown wash that I like to do, using acrylics. Maybe some of you guys haven't seen that. Thank you. Right, so we're going to use this. We're going to use my glaze, which I moved it to a new place. I don't know why I did that. Let's see. Are you likely to get to the donated early Imperial Romans soon? I'd be interested in what you think of them after you've painted them. It's not likely that I'm going to get to them. Well, there's not enough to do a whole army. There's only, where'd they go? There's only, you saw me open them up. There's only, I don't know if I could get one stand out of them. There's just a couple different poses. So, there's like a centurion here, everything. It's not likely. I've had this army, this Old Glory army from early Imperial Roman, at least since 2010, at least since 2010. I haven't touched them. So it's not likely I'm going to get to them anytime soon. Mitch has several early Imperial Romans. I got them before I knew him. That's how long ago I've had them. So, and knowing what I know now, I would probably build that army with those forged in battle figures. because I like the look of them a lot better. All right, so let's just do about that much brown. And this is the same bottom base color brown that's going to be in the base of the vehicle on the stand. And we're going to take about the same amount of this glaze. Now the weird thing about the glaze is when you apply it, it looks super glossy, but when it dries super flat. That was super flat. My watch wanted to interrupt me. Yeah, I don't think that with all the stuff that I just went through putting this War Wagon together, I don't think I have it in me to try to figure out how to paint plastic stuff and get the paint to stick to it and so forth. Yeah. Okay. Boy, this is thick. You know, this may just be fine for the running gear, but we don't want to run this over the whole turret. So that's why we have different pots. Now, interesting thing about these little pots. These are the little pots that came with the paint palette, okay? If you go somewhere cheap and buy one of those little separate palettes that has the little spots, if you were to use this paint on it, you can't ever get it cleaned off. It's almost like the quality of that palette is very, very crappy, and it doesn't work as intended. So, but this is, I've used this several times and it cleans up great. So let's take a look at this. Let's make sure we don't, it seems super thick. I don't have a great grasp of this yet because I've only done this a handful of times. My other method of painting I've done since about 1996. So I've got a really good grasp of what I can and can't do with it. But this using glazes is I'm kind of new to it. I'm kind of new to it. I am new to it. So let's just go around here. Yeah, okay. Let's try this. Good communist tank always dirty. I don't know. I don't think they refer to themselves as communists. As I like to call them, the other bad guys. So another reason I did the Russians first, the Soviets first, was because I wanted to experiment doing this stuff on the vehicles that were of poor quality. And I don't mean that the vehicles weren't any good. I mean the castings, the models that I have for the vehicles are not very good. They're more rustic, let's put it that way, these BP cast models. So I wanted to experiment that with this. I didn't want to start doing this process with like 3-color German things. That's going to take, you know, I want to do it with try to do it with the vehicles that are only one color. So we're going to do the Russians first, then my Americans, and then last of all, the Germans. And everybody paints up German crap all the time, so, let's get in here. And we're still going to dry brush on top of this, but this kind of gives the, you know, Like you see people paint tires, okay? They'll paint tires and they just dry brush the tire. Like they'll paint the whole tire like a charcoal color, and then they dry brush dirt. That's great. But the part where the dirt gets stuck in the tire the most is the deepest recesses. So this kind of does that. Even though I'm only doing one color of this, I'm not doing multiple. I didn't want to go hog wild and spend a freaking week painting this thing, you know? So, all right, we're going to do the running gear on that. I don't know if this comes up at all, but it looks super shiny. This is going to be totally dull. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, I don't think this is too dark. As a matter of fact, I might have to give it another coat on top of it. So let's do the running gear here, and then we'll thin it down and brush over the whole thing. That's what the plan is. I don't know. Is this that noticeable? We got this before, and then we got that afterwards. It doesn't look on the picture to me like it's very brown, but it is in person. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Let's get in here. Let's get in there. And we're still going to dry brush the colors on top of it. So I think it turned out well. The other vehicles I did, no, they weren't award winning, but they were good enough for me. You know, I can't afford to spend 3 weeks painting one vehicle when it may be for a game that we may never play. You know, I'm just kind of enjoying doing this weathering and so forth. So I'd rather spend that kind of detail on the figures than on the vehicles. So okay, and let's see, both sides are probably comparable. Like for instance, I was really tempted to go out and buy the what's the name of that company that does all these things, 8K, the washes and stuff. But it's like I don't want to wait 3 weeks to get the product and spend $30 in the process. I did actually it wasn't the $30; it was the waiting. I wanted to start weathering my vehicle, so and I was happy how my other ones turned out. So no worries here. All right, let's do the. We're still going to do this heavy mix here. Let's go ahead and do the running gear, the the tracks. I got to be careful with this. I don't wear it. Let me jack this up a little bit. Oh, there we go. M and M. I don't know what M&M is. Do they still do that? Do people still having Flames of War tournaments? Or are they pretty much shut down as well? I bet they're shut down. I only like tournaments from the standpoint that you get to play with your own stuff, you know? And you don't have to supply it for anybody, but Flames of War is not the game for me. Um, I've played it before. It's just it's not. It doesn't have enough depth for a treadhead like me. Let's get this light what we got in here. And I've always been a proponent. The more time you spend on your miniatures painting them for a game, the more detail they should have. The game should have. It's probably a bad example with DBA because DBA lacks detail to the max. But I've just kind of accepted that's the case. But, if I'm going to play a World War II game that I got to pay a lot of, buy a lot of stuff for it and spend a lot of time painting, and I want the game to have a lot of detail. You know, maybe that's why I don't play World War II anymore. uh, let's see here. All right, let's. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna stick with it that thick. Let's thin this down a little bit. Let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah, we're gonna have to go thicker than that. There we go. And we may have to go over this part with non-oil also. But this is dirt just getting kicked up big time around here. And like I mentioned before, I'm not looking for a 1/35th scale realistic look of the vehicle. It doesn't need to be ultra realistic, but it needs to have some weathering and, kind of a mix between the two. If you go to the miniatures of Flames of War, if you go to the examples they have of painted things, their things have weathering, but they're painted, not realistic, but not unrealistic either, kind of in between the two. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for. That's the look that I'm going for. I don't want to weather over that box. If I can avoid it. Like the chipping. I draw the line at the chipping. I don't want to do the chipping. Not because I don't like how it looks. I just don't want to spend a freaking week doing one vehicle. Actually, be more than that because I don't seem to be able to do any painting Monday through Friday. Especially this week. I didn't do any painting Monday through Friday. I don't think I did. I don't recall it. Okay. Let's and they say you should mix a maximum of 1-to-1 with this stuff. So 1-to-1 glaze medium with paint. I've mixed with more. It's fine. It's all right. Let's thinking if this is the brush to do this with. Yeah, I already got it dirty. What the hell? What the hell? This is what they like to call a filter. I just don't need to do it with enamels. And I may decide to break down one time and say, screw it. These people, well, all I would have to do is go to a store that already had the product I was looking for, and then I would buy it. I just don't want to. I don't want to wait on it. It's not something I need. So, and I also like using products that if I run out, I could just run to the store and get more of. So, and of course, we'll do a little bit of dry brushing on the tracks, a little bit of metal, because even though it's rusty, these things are running around. It's gonna polish certain areas of the vehicle. We'll come in and polish the road wheel parts, and it doesn't take much time. None of this is difficult at all. It's just all in all multiple steps. Oh, we got to make sure we got dirt here. That's the dirtiest. That's one of the dirtiest parts. Especially when they run over the heads of fascists. Okay. All right. Let's do another check. Let's put some more of this stuff back in here. Yeah, I like those illustrations that they'll show like Russian tanks in particular, because they're mostly green and the whole everything like below from the tracks down is very brown. Yeah, nobody's gonna clean this stuff, you know. I like that look. All right. Let me just make sure that I don't get started on the wrong track here. This one should be a lot thinner. It's farther from the dirt on the ground. Wow, it's too thin. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to gauge how thick something is by what it looks like on here. when we come back, and we'll brighten the number later, and then we can always brown over that as well. This looks like there is, I gotta be careful with this. Well, I'll just repaint the little spot. Looks like there's a little something right there. Like a piece of fiber of some kind. There we go. And it's time to go wake up the child. I will be right back. Okay. Hey, you guys enjoying watching paint dry? Literally. So to give you kind of an idea of what we're looking at, here's my finished T3485. The same thing, filter. And then we came back and it doesn't come out really well with this light for whatever reason. But, we went ahead and added more black around the exhaust and stuff like that. So that's kind of the look that we're looking for. Okay. What do we got left on here? I don't think I want to do more than that. And we'll put the little machine gun barrel in the back. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. We'll leave it as is. All right. This will rinse out just fine. Let's make sure we don't need any more. Oh no, that's nice and brown now. And we're not going to dry brush any green on it. What we're going to do is we're going to dry brush these other two colors. This one and very, very lightly, and the Iraqi sand on top of it, so it ties into the same color as the base, so that it's all tied in together. And yeah, I think this should be good. We gotta let this booger dry. All right, let's go rinse this out, and then this Hungarian dude should be glued in by now, and we'll bring the Hungarians out. All of them. We're going to rinse this out so we don't have a problem with this to it. Okay. All right. So let's move this out. Yeah. Get rid of this dirty thing. There we go. It's more like it. All right. Let's take a look at what we got here. Again, crappy lighting. Photos don't. It washes everything out. On video. Let's put it that way. Okay, so we got two War Wagons. We got a blade, solid blade. We have a solid spear. We have another solid spear here. We've got a couple of deep knights. Here's one. And here's another. We cut a couple of fast bow. We have 3 Saloy, 3 skirmishers. We have 3 light horse. And the knight general. So how many stands is that? It's a big army, and I still didn't know all the options. because they could have two regular sized knights instead of these deep ones. And instead of these two spears, I believe they can have a couple of fast hordes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 units. And I can only use 12 of them at a time. So, and yeah, what we're going to do is if I have to run these for Wimp Wars, these, you're mandatory to have one of the skirmishers. These other two, you can take them in lieu of the War Wagons, so you just don't play with the War Wagons. And then you'll have 3 light horse, 3 Saloy for the Wimp Wars. So, oh, well, why am I doing that when we have this? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there we go. Well, maybe we'll see them in action on Monday. Just maybe. So, yeah, it turned out pretty well. We'll have to take some quality pictures with them in daylight light. It's a little less glary, but yeah, pretty happy with how they turned out. And they are definitely going to play. They should have a winning record. Let's put it that way. I got confidence that they'll do okay. They'll do okay. About the only thing they would be missing would be like an artillery piece. Like I'd rather have a war wagon and one artillery piece or something like that. But you know, it's not a design your own first army with a war wagon, so that's something different. Yeah. So we'll take some good pictures of these guys. This doesn't really do them justice. This light, for whatever reason, on video really washes things out. You see it changes dramatically depending on what angle it's from. Let's see if I can hold it here in place and see if that makes it. It just really washes out all the colors. So, anywho, that's that. No more Hungarians. No more damn Hungarians. Okay. So yeah, it's likely that what I'm going to work on next is going to be my early Russians and finish them up because I believe I've got 5 knights painted, and I believe I need to paint 10 more, like the actual physical knights, and then that army will be complete. So, because they fight Mitch's Poles that he loves so much, but I just kind of ran out of steam, and I I was painting them for a particular game at a particular convention, and then ran out of time to finish them and ran them with Ostrogoth's knights instead, and they whooped ass. But you know, I lost interest in finishing the Russians, and I got Russian buildings to do for a little Russian village, and you know, we got some cool stuff to do also. But yeah, I think that's the route I'm going to go into, is finish those guys up. This, we'll see if we can, when we can work this thing in. We got to spray paint this and start from there, because this is a lot of primer to do that. This is Mitch's 10-cent castle. I don't know where the hell he got this from, but we'll have to fix this thing up. This make it look a little better. So Scott can use his BUAs and his rivers and all that stuff that he likes to do. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to stop, because I've got literally like 7 minutes left anyways. But yeah, Hungarian's done. So all right, folks, until next time, catch you guys later and have a good weekend. We'll see you maybe next weekend. Bye bye.